That's crazy. We're gonna wing it. Sorry for being late. I had to write the stuff down. So I think I'm gonna wait a couple minutes and then I'll start that way since I was 10 minutes late. 10 minutes late. So I guess what is that? We'll see. I wonder if I could pin something real quick because I really feel like all these things bleed in together. Really, honestly, they all fall under manifestation, but they all bleed together. I'm gonna keep my pen just in case. Gotta write something down that I might forget. Well, it will be pinned to my oh, so I can start. It'll be pinned to my reel. Did I do that? Oh, we about to see now. So the first topic is grief, and I guess it's going into mindset, which is going into manifestation, which is all boils down to emotional intelligence and emotional maturity. I guess for the sake of privacy and the sake of respect, grieving is a natural part of life first. Like, there's this stigma around being sad and around being not ready for something or being depressed. I know some people may not like this, but I do feel like sadness is a natural part of life. Grieving is a natural part of life. And it's not trying to avoid emotions is probably one of the most harmful things you can do to yourself and to others, actually, but mainly to yourself. Let's just focus on inward, because as soon as we start talking externally, then we have a whole nother ballgame. So grieving is very much so natural. It is not even a choice of how you choose to grieve. It's about allowing yourself the room and the permission to grieve, and to grieve in a way that you see fit. And not too much about, oh, okay, I feel weak. Oh, okay, I'm sad today. I didn't do anything. I didn't get out of the bed. Or I could have handled that situation better than that. Whatever it is, allow yourself grace, because we tend to give grace and patience. We tend to channel it outwardly versus inwardly. And I guess that falls under self-forgiveness and forgiveness in general, but really self-forgiveness. So when we are in these spaces where we are sad or depressed or, I don't know, anything the opposite of joy, because people don't like anything the opposite of joy and fun. Me either. But allowing yourself permission to feel those things. So for me, and this is a lot of reading and this is a lot of research. This is a lot of things. But emotions are your fuel for creativity, and you need your creativity to be able to create. Follow me and pick up what I'm putting down. You need your emotions as fuel to be able to create what it is that you want to create. Oh, this took me a long time to like actually put into words and find the language to where it actually makes sense to me, for my brain to be able to process. Because when you read, the things I like to do cause me to spend more time in my mind and intellectualizing things so I can be able to understand, then I can process. So all the people who have like analytical brains, this is like really gonna click for you. So your emotions is your fuel, and you need your fuel in order to create. And anybody that's in a situation, or I don't want to call it a situation, anybody that's in a moment in your life where you're trying to transition, your emotions are going to be your best friend. Like, I know it may not seem like it because you're like, oh, I'm in my head, I'm stressed out, I'm trying to figure out how I'm going to do A, B, and C, and D, and like, use that to your advantage. Like, this is a time for emotional intelligence. And in emotional intelligence, you need to use that to your advantage. Because guess what? Sometimes sadness produces the best songs. Sometimes sadness produces the best art. Sometimes anger gives you the courage to actually stand up for yourself, to do and set boundaries, to do things and may say things to protect yourself, and maybe give you the courage to set up boundaries that you may have never thought to yourself that you would ever do. And you kind of need your emotions to do that. So that is your fuel. Now, here's the thing about your emotions. Feeling your emotions is not the problem. It's allowing your emotions to consume you. So when you sit in something too long, I don't want to say too long, because what is too long? What is too long? When you sit in something so long to the point where it's starting to consume you, and you really can't think straight, and you lack clarity. You lack clarity because you're not thinking straight, because now your emotions have consumed you. That is the loop. That is the place where now you have and or are allowing this moment to become your entire life. So let me see if I could think of an example, because I know sometimes when I'm speaking these things, it's a disconnect between real life and actual information. There's a disconnect between real life and actual information. So let's say you fall out with a friend or something, or you guys are no longer friends anymore, and you had to separate yourself from this friend, or the friend separated themselves from you, and you're sad, and maybe this has happened before, and you don't understand, why does this keep happening? What is the loop? What is it? Most people, the average person, because it's so easy to project outwardly and be like, oh, it's their fault. Oh, they should have been there for me. Oh, they should have called me. Oh, they should have did this. They should have did that. If your emotions, if we're going to use our emotions to the best of our ability, because we're in a situation where we want to create, and we want to be creative, and we want to shift our mindsets, and we want to disrupt this loop, accountability. And it hurts. It hurts as a person who actively does accountability and reflect, because I need reflection. We all need reflection, but I'm just talking about myself right now. When I'm in that reflection period, it's always accountability. It's never, oh, they should have done this, they should have done that. No, you're never going to reach a point of clarity, because you may not get closure from people. That may not be an option. So in order to disrupt that loop, one, and two, put ourselves, we're just focusing on us, putting ourselves in a better position, hopefully to not repeat the same cycle, hopefully to not be in this situation again, because that's the goal. We're going to take accountability. And how do we take accountability? Instead of saying, oh, they should have. Okay, no. What could I have done better? Could I have communicated my feelings better? Could I have not lost my temper? Could I have slowed down and actually listened to what they said? And just say gracefully, maybe you have done all these things. Gracefully, maybe you have done all these things. Then at that point, it is it's time to just let it go. Because there's nothing else that you could do. You have done all you can do. So now I forgive myself for overstaying my welcome. I forgive myself for allowing myself to be disrespected because that person didn't do anything I did not allow them to do. People can only do what you allow them to do in your life. So, I mean, we can't control other people's behavior, period. So if they want to run amok and they want to do whatever they want to do, if people want to, I don't know, not trust you, not be present for you, not support you, that's a choice. Although it may hurt you or I or the other person, it may hurt our feelings in the process, but that's still a choice. And you cannot push people past their capacity. If this is all they have in their tank, they only have 9% in their tank, if they only have 8% in their tank, and you're requiring 12, it's not going to happen. They don't have 12 to give you. So to actively be upset with somebody, to actively allow your emotions to consume you in that moment, because you're requiring something from somebody that they really cannot give you, that is where accountability comes in at. That is where we are now in a space where it's like, okay, I see what I keep doing. I see that I am over giving myself to a situation. Now I see this is just not for me. And that's okay. That is okay. That is okay. It's like 8 billion people on this planet. You haven't met them all. It's okay. We love comfort. I love comfort. My God, I love comfort. I love comfort food. I love a comfortable bed. I love a comfortable lifestyle. I love comfort. But sometimes comfort will keep you so stagnant to the point where you're reaching for something else that you may never get because you're comfortable in a space with people, places, and things that no longer serve you. You've reached your point. So this is where, okay, now let me go into reflection. Now let me figure out what it is that I want in my life. Okay, now I want a friend that can give me 12% out of whatever that 12% consists of. Maybe it's time. Maybe it's, I need accompaniment. Maybe it's, I don't know. I have no idea. Whatever it is that you are requiring of that person to be in your life, to be in connection with, I need those 12%. So, okay, let's sit down and reflect about the 12%. What is it that we're willing to give? Because you can't require 12% from somebody and you're not willing to give the other 12, because then at this point, it's that equally yoked thing. It's not reciprocal. We're not equal. You're taking more than you're giving. So you have to sit with yourself. Use those emotions as fuel, whatever it is that you do to get into reflection. And reflection is not just accountability. It's also like creating those habits to where, okay, even Jesus went to the mountain. Even Jesus separated himself. Okay, so you have to figure out, where's my happy place? And everybody's happy place is not solitude. My happy place is solitude. My happy place is solitude. But your happy place may not be solitude. Your happy place may be, oh, I want to be surrounded around people. Oh, I want to hear music. Oh, I want to dance. Oh, I want to be in community. Wherever it is that serves you, you have to figure out what that is. And when you figure out what that is, lean into it. And lean into it more. But make sure that you're leaning into it from a place of, I am doing this to receive clarity. And not clarity about what went wrong, how it went wrong, because that will keep you on the loop. Oh my God, I should have did this, I should have did that. Oh my goodness, it's past. It is the past, and it has passed. You cannot go back and get time. That's why it is just give. If you are a person that gives 110%, and whatever you are committed to, make sure that you give 110% at all times. Do not give 80. Do not give 70, because that is the thing that's going to keep you looping and saying, oh, I should have done this or I should have done that. When you had the opportunity to do it, you didn't show up. Accountability. I told you it hurt like 5 minutes ago. I told you it was going to be uncomfortable. I told you it wasn't going to feel nice. So accountability. And then once you learn that emotional intelligence, because it's not the same for everybody, because we all have not experienced life the same. My life experience is not going to be your life experience. Your life experience is not going to be mine. So how I handle situations, how I process my emotions, how I choose to deal with life is not going to be the same way that another person chooses to deal with life. We didn't grow up in the same environment. We didn't have the same life experiences. So, of course, that's going to look different for everybody. But once we get comfortable in reflection, this is like literally the best recipe for manifestation. This is the best recipe for manifestation. So really, like, for real, I really want y'all to like actually watch this whole thing through, because I promise you this works. I guarantee you it works. And then like when it works, come back and tell me. Come back and be like, you know what, you was right. Or like, oh yeah, I used this in my little, you put your own little spin on it. You put your own little spin on it. So once you learn this emotional intelligence, once you learn how to be comfortable in reflection, whatever that looks like for you, now I want you to be conscious of everything that you do, of your words, of the company that you keep, your schedule, the time you spend doing the things that bring you joy, the time that you spend with the people the time that you are going to spend and will spend with the people, places, and things that you enjoy. All that is going to help you shift your mindset, because now you're operating on a different frequency. And, I love science so much. Now you're operating on a different frequency because you're operating from a place of your core. You're operating from a place that brings you joy. Happiness is so fleeting. But you're operating from a place that brings you joy and happiness, even if it is just for a moment, because really my go-to is peace. But coherence and tranquility and to be serene, that is really the ultimate goal. Because when you're in that place where you're not moving off of your emotions, you can sit still for a minute and think. The best advice I ever got was never make a decision while you're in a turbulent emotional state. And that doesn't mean anger or sadness. Say, I don't know, say a job offer fall in your lap. This is the best example. Say a job offer fall in your lap and you're really excited, but you're also conflicted because you have or are currently in another position. Ask for 72 hours. Best advice ever. Ask for 72 hours, because what is meant for you is meant for you. And it's going to take some time for your emotional state to dip. So once you first get the deal or opportunity or whatever you want to call it, offer, and you are so excited. You're like, you screaming, whatever. I don't know. You're happy. I don't know. And then maybe it comes with some type of, I don't know. In order to take this offer, you will have to leave your current job or your current position, your current opportunity that you are residing in, even though this is what you pray for, or you hope for, or you wish for, or whatever, because everybody don't pray. So if this is what you're banking on, this opportunity is what you're trying to manifest, and it shows up, and maybe it doesn't look exactly like you want it to look. And in order to do it, you have to leave the current spot, right? Take those 72 hours. Take the 72 hours, weigh your pros and cons, and think. Do not, the worst thing you can do, if you have your mentors and you have a good team of people that's your confidant, that's your corner, and you know that they stand with you and they stand for you, you don't have to second guess their motives or anything like that. You have those trusted people in your corner. now's not the time to be talking. Because people opinions and life experiences sometimes can sway us from the things that we want for ourselves, because they're not living our lives. So if you're a single person with no kids and you get this opportunity, and you may confide in somebody that is married, of course they're gonna be like, I don't know, da da da. So just to avoid any of that ever happening, take the 72 hours, sit with yourself, figure out what it is that you want, because it's your life. You're the one that has to live with this decision. If you turn it down, or if you take it, if you take the offer, or if you turn it down, it's your life. You have to live with that decision. And I'm telling you right now, the absolute worst position to be in is shoulda, coulda, woulda. Absolute worst position to be in. So therefore, take the time, take the 72 hours. They're gonna wait for you. I promise you. Whoever it is that's offering the opportunity, they will wait the 72 hours. They'll stall you out. So business is business. It's never personal. So ask for the time. Hey, can I have 72 hours to think about it? Or can I have a couple of days? You don't have to say 72 hours. Can I have a couple of days to think about it? I have some things to discuss with my family, blah, 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 because this is a big opportunity. Take the time, think about it. See, now here's where it gets preachy. Because if the Spirit of God lives within you, you need to be comfortable with knowing that voice. Because if you don't know that voice, we right back at square one. We're still on that loop. Because now, other people's opinion, other people's input has now become more important see where I'm going with this? Has become more important than the only voice that should matter. Because it's only one person living that life. So once you figure out what it is that you want to do, whether you want to take it or whether you want to decline the offer, then and only then, those who have families, those who have friends or whatever, then and only then, if it is an opportunity that is going to affect externally the people, places, and things around you, then you communicate. But if this opportunity is not going to affect anything externally, do not communicate. Do not communicate. When we are in the process of trying to create and be creative and take different opportunities, because this is what we manifested, this is what we prayed for, this is what we hoped for, this is what we wish for, and I'm using all of these different variations of language because everybody don't believe in the same thing. Everybody just don't. So if this is what we are trying to create, if this is the direction in which we want our life to go, we don't need to be having external conversations. Why? For what? It's not going to affect them externally. It's only going to affect you. So you need to lock in with the spirit inside of you. And once you get to that point, creating and manifesting something, that's the easy part. Maintaining. This is the part that people do not tell you. Hold on, let me get me some water. This is the part that people do not tell you. This is the part that, to me, like the absolute longest to figure out. Creating something is easy. Maintaining it, well, now that's a whole nother ballgame. Because if I'm in a space where I got jewelry on my cup, that's why it's so loud. If I'm in a place where I could use my own life as an example. So shifting from global logistics, and I mean all parts of logistics, shifting from that into a career that requires me to be emotionally present takes a lot of internal work. Because in order to write, in order to come up with these strategies and these different game plans for people, organizations, or whatever, entities is what I like to call them. But in order to come up with these game plans, I have to be in a place where accountability is at the forefront, but also emotional intelligence is like top one. You have to be able to actively listen and be present. Because if you can't hear what the issue is, what the core of the issue is, you will never ever come up with a solution. Ever. In order to be able to actively listen, I have to have emotional intelligence. I have to be able to check myself, because this has nothing to do with me. And I have to be fully present and engaged in what this person is saying. And I promise you, it is a lot harder than it seems, because the mind is busy. And when you live in a world that is constantly moving, and we are obsessed with time, when you are present, I promise you 5 minutes can feel like 5 hours, and 5 hours can feel like 5 minutes, depending on who's in the room and who's talking and what you're doing, and how fully engaged you are. And if it's a snooze fest, if it's a snooze fest, it's hard. But it takes a lot of maintaining internally. And that's depending on what path you're going down. Well, it doesn't really, no, it don't. No, it doesn't. It doesn't. Because just in life in general, you need emotional intelligence. To deal with humans, even to deal with animals, you need emotional intelligence. You need to be able to be present at all times. So that's the maintaining. That is also, I can create an opportunity. I can be creative and create these opportunities to be able to manifest or hope these things come into my life, or pray these things in my life. Now what do? I got the opportunity, the offer. I got the connections. I got the relationships, whatever it is that you're trying to bring into your life. Money is always a big one. I'm debating whether I want to go here or not. I'm really debating whether I want to go here or not. Because money, we already here. I brought it up. Let's just do it. We already had this conversation about money, and money being energy, and energy is just currency. And you could create money. You could create money. There's 100 side hustles you can do, 50 million things you can do to create money. Creating money is not the issue. Maintaining money. I can create 14 different avenues to bring in the money. But how do I maintain the money? Because you don't want to spend it just as fast as you get it. And trust me, I've lived that lifestyle. I love fast money. And one thing about fast money, my grandma always say, when it come fast, baby, it's going to leave fast. So I love fast money. And this is a mindset that I had to break myself out of, because getting the money was never the issue. It was maintaining the money, because I like things. This is something I had to learn about myself. And things is not like, yeah, clothes and shoes, poo, all that. But I like things. Like, I like trinkets and I like things. I'm a collector, so I like things. And when I get consumed with something, I'm like, oh, I need that. And they come in 2 different colors. Give me that one and that one. Why should I have to choose? It's a thing. So maintaining money is the issue. Where are you putting it? Is it just sitting in the bank? Are you invested in it? Like, if something was to happen, because something is happening here in this time and place, I swear to you. And people may think I'm crazy, but I promise you, I feel like we are literally mirroring the Renaissance. I feel like we've seen this before. Like the chaos, the war, all this stuff, we've seen this before. Like, it's like history is repeating itself. And I really want people to be proactive about it and not reactive, because we already see where this is going. You see the markets are crashing. You see housing is not affordable for millennials. And I'm in that little subgroup generation. So if you see that it's already not affordable for the millennials, so you already know that every other generation behind us, it's not going to work. And we are the generation in between technology and tradition. So if it's not enough funding for us, if SSI is going to be dried up for us, what does that mean for every other generation that exists after us? So if we see the way that things are going, this is why I don't like talking about money. If we see the way that things are going, now is the time to be proactive. Instead of waiting for the other shoe to drop, let's get in the mode of figuring out how we deal with this issue before this issue becomes a problem. So creating the money isn't an issue. Once you have the money, where are you putting the money? Are you buying things? Are you filling your life with junk that you eventually are gonna have to get rid of? Like me, I love shoes. Oh my goodness. Anybody who knows me, like, knows me in real life, I love shoes. I just love shoes. I'm a collector of shoes. But also, I don't like to continuously wear the same pair of shoes. So it's either I give the shoes away or I sell them on Vinted or whatever, because I'm going to want more. I'm going to consume more. But that is my way of saying, oh, okay, I'm not being wasteful. If I buy the shoes and then I sell them, although I'm not getting full profit back, I'm getting something back. I am on this trip where I'm like, you have to be smart about what you're investing in. That goes for money, and especially my time. I'm very finicky about my time, but we're going to just stick with money. Money is time, because in this day and age, we exchange our time for currency, which is money. So it's all the same thing. But be very fickle when it comes to what you're investing your money into. Be very fickle about what you're investing your time into. Be very fickle about where you take your body and who you choose to be in company with. Be very fickle about all these things, because you're the investor of your life. And if you have poor management skills when it comes to your time, if you have poor management skills when it comes to whether or not you put yourself in dangerous situations, whatever that looks like, you're pretty much going to have a poor outcome. It's kind of like math. 0 plus 0 is 0. You ain't going to get nothing out of it. So focusing on, okay, I've created this opportunity. I brought this money in. Okay, where am I putting it? What's important to you? Something has to be important to you. What's important to you? If it's, oh, I want to set my children up so they can have whatever, money, CDs, land, whatever. Do that. Take that excess money and start there. I don't care if it's $2. I don't care if it's $5. Because one thing about money is going to compound. Once you start putting it in a place where it can multiply, it will multiply. Once you start putting your time, we're on the same frequency. Once you start putting your time in places where it can multiply, it's going to multiply. But I want people to be in a place where it's passive. And we're not exchanging our time for currency. So that is what I mean by maintaining. Okay, if you're doing a 10 to 6, 11 to 7, 6 to 4, 9 to 5, whatever the schedule is. Whatever the schedule is. If that's what you're doing and your goal is to transition out of that, I just gave you the entire recipe. Use that emotion of Fannie Lou Hamer. I'm sick and tired of being sick and tired. Use that to fuel you. Use that to create what it is that's your passion. Don't worry about the money. It's going to come. Because now you're investing. See? See how I just wrapped that all around? I ain't nothing but a preacher. You see how I just wrapped all that around? So, do the thing. Find the passion. And sometimes we don't have the passion. Sometimes the passion is just something that you may be ignoring. Sometimes the passion is just, maybe I want to sleep. Then girl, go to sleep. Boy, go to sleep. Man, go to sleep. King, go to sleep. Queen, go to sleep. Go to sleep and figure it out. Because sometimes we need rest. Sometimes we cannot do what needs to be done without rest. Okay? What is it? I can't think of her name. Forgive me, Queen. But she has the nap ministry. Okay? And when I was in undergrad, we used to call them senior citizens. But listen, a nap will serve you right. Take your tail to sleep because rest is important. Rest. Because sometimes we're too exhausted to hear and connect with ourselves. Remember, I told you where the spirit is. This vessel, if this vessel, my vessel, your vessel, everybody's vessel, house the spirit of the Lord. If that is the vessel, this is the vessel. I need to be able to hear. And I need to be able to take care of this vessel. Because if I do not take care of this vessel, if I'm not in tune with myself, then I can't hear. If I'm not taking the time to reflect, however that looks for you. Because I told you solitude don't work for everybody. It just happens to work for me. Figure out what that looks like for you. It could be coloring. It could be, I don't know, drawing. It can be painting. Cooking. Because some people just love to cook. Cooking. It could be a lot of things. Walking. Running. Exercising. Whatever it is. Whatever works for you. Bicycle riding, I don't know, chatting with children, who knows? Whatever it is that works for you, figure it out. Because that is going to be the place in the time where you can cultivate, where you can hear, where you can be in a space, in a place of reflection. That is the space. So if it's driving, because I have some friends that just love to drive. They can drive for 7-8 hours. Do that. Play your little music. Listen, hear, zone out, you know. Do that. I know some people that need to smoke they little cigarettes and stand up, and cigarettes has saved a lot of lives. I'm not promoting smoking cigarettes, but I know people who have lit up a cigarette and literally saved at least 5 lives because they were at their end. Whatever it is that works for you, do that. Do that. If you do that, do that. That is the place of that stillness. That is where we are trying to get. That place of stillness where you can really have some sanity, it's some clarity, and you can hear yourself. That is the place where manifestation begins. That is the place where you will be able to create the life that you so desire. That is the place. It sounds odd. It sounds crazy, but it's the truth. I'm telling you, it's the truth. I've always loved science, so I'm always going to test the theory. I'm always going to test the hypothesis. I'm always going to have me a hypothesis somewhere along some part of my life, I'm going to have a hypothesis. I'm going to be like, you know what? I'm going to try this because I read this in a book and I was listening to this podcast, and these are two different people, and this person is from this time and this person is from this time, and they said that this works, so let me figure out the recipe and see what works for me. So he said, do this. And then he or she said, oh, when I was in this space, I birthed this movie. And he said, when I was in this place, I birthed this book. Okay, that's a very similar thing. So let me try this hypothesis for myself. And so I know for certain that whatever works for you, where you can get into that reflection period of stillness, and you can cultivate some type of clarity and some type of understanding, that is the place where manifestation starts. That is the place of creation. That is the place you want to be for your creativity to do and make that step to go wherever it is you are trying to go. And I promise you, it will always be easy. It will always be easy because everything around you wants you to win. And if it's something or somebody around you that don't want you to win, accountability. That's the part that hurts, because we get comfortable with people, places, and things, and you know this thing is no longer serving you, and you know you're trying to move in the right direction, but ultimately you keep ending back up in the same spot. You are not taking accountability. You better take some accountability. Figure it out. However you want to handle it. If that means I need to cut this off, or maybe I just distance myself a little bit and let's see. Be a scientist. Distance yourself and see. Go away for a few days. See what happens. Don't say as much anymore. Don't volunteer as much information anymore. See what happens. Just test it. If I'm wrong, I know I'm not wrong, because when I'm right, I'm right. And when I'm wrong, I'm still right. So listen, I know I'm right. Just try it out. Just try it out. Please come back and tell me. That's all I want you guys to do. Just come back and tell me, because I know that I'm right. So if literally, I'll try not to giggle, because it's like, this is a great example. This is a great example. For the sake of privacy, we're not going to use, I'm not using any names. I really don't want to use gender either, but I was talking to a person, and this person said to me, I love the relationship that I'm in. I love this person. This is whom I want to spend the rest of my life with. Now, this person that they're in a relationship with, their relationship is long distance. So it's going to require this person to eventually move to where said person they love lives. But this person, whom I love dearly, is saying to me, it's not funny. For some reason, I keep finding myself in situations where people keep throwing themselves at me and I want to catch them. If you understand what I'm saying, you understand what I'm saying. And I'm like, I don't understand. What do you mean you keep finding yourself in these situations? You can't possibly keep finding yourself in situations. I don't understand. Explain it to me differently. Like, oh, I went to a function with 5 other people, and somebody ended up coming up to me and wanting to be with me. And I'm like, what did you say? And the person said, I said no. But I'm just trying to figure out why all the temptation keep coming to me. I said, well, where were you? I was out with 5 people, and I was like, they named the people, and then they were telling me about the people. And I was like, well, that's your problem. I said, the function is not the problem. It's the 5 people you're going with. And the person was like, why you said that? I mean, what you mean? I don't understand. I've been around these people forever. And I'm like, they're all single. You're not. So I don't understand why I don't understand what you don't get. And the person was like, dang, I ain't never thought about it like that. I'm like, yeah. So if you hanging out with single people, and single people are doing single things, and you're in a committed relationship, I said, when you go to the function, just go with the other 3 people over here, because y'all in the same situation, and those 3 people are going to hold you accountable, because they're not going to do what the other 5 was doing, because they're single and the other 3 are in committed relationships. Do you understand what I'm saying? So sometimes it's like, yeah, you can still hang with those 5 people. You just can't hang with those 5 people at that type of function. You need to be with the 3 other people that's in committed relationships. So you make the 4th person that's in a committed relationship. So now you don't have to worry about doing single things around single people, because you ain't around single people and they ain't doing single things. Accountability. We're right back at square one. Accountability. So, just to say, the recipe works. So, that was the whole kit and caboodle. Try it. Use the emotions. We're going to wrap it up in 3 seconds. Use the emotions as fuel. Take the reflection, however that looks, whatever that looks like. Take accountability. We're not blaming people for anything that happens to us. Nope. We cannot control other people. Don't even try. Waste of breath and time. Nope, we cannot control other people. But what we can do is control ourselves. We can do is control our emotions. That's what we can do. We can have emotional intelligence up until that point. If something is not serving us in the way in which we desire to be served, that's the kicker. Not by society standards. Yes, I did just roll my eyes. Not by society standards. What serves us in the way that we desire to be served. So you need to get very clear. Very clear. This is disclaimer. Be very clear about what it is that you want. Because if you start asking for general things, you will get general things. When you are in a position where you are trying to create, manifest, pray for, hope for, wish for, whatever it is, be very specific, because you will end up with anything. Don't be like, I want $1 million. You might end up with $1 million worth of things and not the actual monetary $1 million. Be clear. Oh, I just want to make a lot of money. You might end up working 15 jobs because you want to make a lot of money. It wasn't clear about what it is that you want. Be very clear. Language is very important. Be very clear. And sometimes, like me and most intellects, we spend a lot of time in our minds. Start writing. I told you this in the last live. Pen and paper. Ain't nobody said crop out no pencil. Pen and paper, and write it down, and be very clear about what it is that you want and that you're manifesting, you're praying for, hoping for, trying to create, whatever adjective, verb you want to use. Be very clear about it, because when you start asking for stuff, you're going to get stuff. So you be clear about it. Be very clear and intentional about what it is that you're asking for. After that comes maintaining. Don't just say, I want $1 million. What you going to do with $1 million? Of course, you're going to spend it, but what you going to spend it on? Because it ain't that much clothes in the world, ain't that much shoes in the world. They ain't making no more land. What are you going to spend it on? Are you going to invest it? Do you have a plan to give it back? What's the plan? Are you taking care of a lot of people? Or are you just taking care of yourself? What is it? What's the plan? So creating the thing, creating the money, creating the opportunity, that's just half of the battle. You can do that in a matter of seconds about being clear about what it is that you want. You can do that at any given time. However, comma. How are you going to maintain? So don't just make a plan for how to get the thing. Make a plan on how to maintain the thing. And discipline will always be your best friend. It's uncomfortable. Nobody likes it. But it becomes repetitive after a while. And you get used to it because it becomes your new normal. So that is it. That is your 101. Your mindset shift. How to use your emotions as fuel. How to manifest the thing that you want, and also diving into how to maintain it. And this is all just general, and you can apply it to your life however you see fit. But I hope it helps. And come back and let me know that it worked, because I know that it worked. I know for a fact that it worked, because I told you. I'm going to figure it out. I'm going to test the theory before I bring you the information. I don't want to bring you anything wrong. Why would I tell you something wrong? Because I want you to win. The whole purpose of me doing this is for everybody to win. All I can do is give you the information. All you can do is apply it, and I promise you that it's going to work. You put your own little sauce on it, you know. If you're from the South, you kind of like the salt, you know. Different parts of the South, you kind of like the heat, you know. So put a little spice on it. Put your spin on what I'm giving you, your general information, and you figure out how it works. You figure out what works for you in reflection. You figure out if therapy is what you need, if a mentor is what you need, if journaling is what you need, if writing is what you need, if speaking is what you need, if music is what you need, whatever it is, you figure out that recipe for you, and you work it, and it's going to work. Now, for those of us who need the technical process of all the other things, hit me up. I'm here. I'm here to help. I'm here to assist. Make it good. Just make it good. Make it good. I'm here to help, and I'm here to assist you. Just make it very, very good, and be clear about what it is that you want. That is the most important. If you don't remember anything I say, be clear about what it is you want. Now, I hope this reached. Y'all share this and let people figure out. Give them the information. Let them do with it what they will. But I have faith in y'all. I know this going to work out for you. I pray and hope it works out for you. I know it will work. But just try it out and then tell me how it works for you. So if you're in the space of grief, or if you're in the space of whatever, if you're in the space of transition, however that looks, try this out. I promise you it's going to work. It's going to work. So I will tell you good luck. Enjoy the process. And the destination is forever going to be moving. That is... I wish somebody would have told me that. I swear I'm about to wrap this up. I wish somebody would have told me that the destination is forever going to be moving, because you're going to grow and you're going to change, and things about you are going to shift throughout the process. The process is the most important part. It is not the destination. The destination may move. You may start off saying, oh, I just want to be comfortable in life. And then that turns into, oh, I just want a house in the yard. And then that turns into, oh, I want a villa with 15. You see how you eventually begin to get clear about what it is that you want and be more specific in details. The destination is going to shift. And you might go say, I want a villa here, but I want a home in Fiji, and I want one in South Africa. The destination is always shifting and changing, because you are shifting and changing and evolving. So do not trap yourself in no mental prison, because you are not the same person you were 10 years ago. You ain't supposed to be the same person you were 10 years ago. Jesus, help us. You ain't supposed to be the same person you was 10 years ago. That is the purpose of evolving. That is the purpose of transforming. That is the purpose of shifting your mindset. You are not supposed to be the same. You are supposed to change. I hope you grow at some point. Some of us grow for the best. Some of us grow for the best. Grow for the best. Change and shift. And, you know, everybody ain't going to like it, but who cares? As long as you like it, that's all that matters. So the destination is always shifting. You're going to change throughout the process. You're going to look different. You're going to feel different. You're going to think different. You're going to speak different. That's what happens when you undergo. When you undergo. When you undergrow, meaning the roots got to come in before the flower sprouts. But when you undergo any process, things are going to shift around you. People are going to change. You're going to change. Environments are going to change. Your habits are going to change. Because now you're working towards something. And working towards that thing that you want, you are now becoming the person that can maintain the thing that you want. So that's the disclaimer. You're going to shift in the process. Things are going to shift in the process. So, good luck. Let me know how it works. I'm here for you if you need me. You know where to find me. My information is in the bio. So, have a good weekend. Is there anything important going on? I don't know. Have a good weekend. Be safe. I love you. Enjoy life. See you later. Until next time. Now listen.